Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be discussing how I made a boom arm from a camera in the shed. So these four arms here were just massively too long, so I changed them, but I'll show you them in a bit. This plate, I don't know why I designed it, but I didn't end up using it in the end. But yeah, that's all the parts that I designed and laser cut out. So as I'm doing a voiceover, this is after the fact. So this bottom part here is a bit that I designed after I'd built it all, put it together, tested it out, figured out that the old arms were too long. They were 850 millimeters, and these new ones are only 500 millimeters, and they've got centre. Those slots act as a centre brace, and cuts out a lot of the twisting and warping and flex. So yeah, the new arms are definitely better. They're not perfect, but they're better. So it is trial and error. I probably will do tweaks on it after I've used it for a bit and just see what I can do to make it a bit better, basically. So we'll cut out the original design, and then we'll cut back to me building it and talking through the different parts and how they work. I'm not going to show you the whole section of me building it, because a lot of it's just tedious and stuff you don't really need to see. You'd be bored if I showed it all, basically. So now that I've got it all built, let's have a look at it. So we've got this section here, which is the clamp section. That's what you can clamp on your shelves and stuff. The screw there, you can see the turn dial that I've made just by clamping a few bits of MDF around the head, and that just screws into whatever, the underside of whatever you're clamping it onto, and it stops it from moving. I added these triangles, I don't know what the proper name for them would be, but they're sort of strengtheners, and they're just mortise and tenon into the faceplate and the top and bottom of the clamping system. So there's the cogs come in. Basically I used T-nut bolt joint there to support those sort of half moon bits, and then the idea is that that dial just sort of clamps everything in place, stops that bottom nut rotating, and we'll see that in a second. So that's the faceplate that just goes on top. We'll get that bolted on and then come back and I can show you how the locking mechanism works. So the majority of the bolts that I'm using in this build are carriage bolts. They've got a dome top and a square section to the top there, and they're really handy because all you need to do is cut little square holes, and then that locks them in place, stops them from turning when you're tightening up the nuts on the other side. So I'll just go around, whack the nuts in for these, and then we can move on to the next part. So because these parts don't need to be movable, I'm just going to go around them with the socket set and then just tighten them right up so they're nice and tight. It's important that those are tight so that the lever for the cogs can put a wee bit of pressure on and just nip that cog and stop it from turning, like you can see just now. See? So I'm fairly happy with this design. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this, so the fact that this worked straight off the bat, I was pretty happy about. So these are the new arms that I was telling you about. They're considerably lighter, so they don't twist and they don't rack when there's weight on the end of the camera, which is absolutely fantastic. Again, they just bolt through there with a simple carriage bolt, and then I use one of my homemade wing nuts. They're dead simple. Again, you can see I've got one there for the dial, but I'm going to show you a close up in a second once I get this bolt in place. So basically all it is 3 sandwiched layers. So you've got the piece with the bolt, the nut in it, and it's just a hexagon cut out shape that fits the nut. Then another piece that locks that in place, and then the round washer which gives it a bit of lift off the project you're bolting it to. Dead simple and effective. And just like Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier. They're really handy, saves you faffing about with spanners and whatever when you need to come to adjusting things, and then you can just tighten it back up with your hand basically. So the camera mount system I'm using is just a simple one. It's using the bolt and nut design that I showed you in my joint video. If you've not seen that, check it out. That'll be my playlist. And then it just bolts on with another one of those homemade wing nuts, and it's fully adjustable. It's almost 180 degrees on that. And then I bought this rig from Amazon. It's basically a bevel joint and then the phone stand, or phone holder should I say, that screws together. And then you just bolt that on using a wing nut that I've got lying about somewhere. I've got a random box of bolts, I think most guys have, that I've got a workshop anyway. And then that's got loads of range of movement in it as well. So it's really handy. So here we are in the shed, and you can see it up on the ledge there, hanging nicely over the laser. The good thing about this system is it can actually hold my DSLR, which is fantastic. I need to really start using that more rather than filming my phone. There is a slight twist on those arms. I'll perhaps come back and design something a little bit stronger, but it's still strong enough. There's the bolting system, and again you just tighten that up into whatever you're locking it into, and then we've got the rotational dial there. So yeah, I mean it works perfect. It hangs exactly where I was hoping it would hang. I guess if you wanted to make it more flexible, you could just adjust the length of the arms. And the good thing about it as well is when you don't need to film or you're needing into the laser, it just slides back like that, out the way, and you can open the lid still perfectly, and you've got full range of access. It's been a really fun make. This will get some alterations done to it, perhaps strengthen up the arms a bit more. If you've got any suggestions, drop them in the comments. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video.